In bed last night, I was on the edge of sleep, that sweet spot where you're half in reality and half in dreamland. But then, a sound clear as day pierced the silence, my mom's voice. What freaked me out was that the sound wasn't coming from her bedroom, the hallway, or even anywhere inside the house. It was right outside my window, clear and unmistakably her. Every muscle in my body went rigid. 1,000 thoughts crashed into my head all at once, each more terrifying than the last. The idea of pulling back those curtains made my heart race because, what if something was waiting there, staring back? "James, open the window." It was her voice, but something about it just felt off. It sounded so much like my mom, but there was an unsettling edge to it. And why the heck would she be outside calling me through the window? None of this added up. See, we live in a 2-story house, meaning for my mom to be calling me from outside my window, she'd have to scale a portion of the roof, reaching the porch roof of the backyard. The only platform right below my window where she could possibly stand. Every ounce of me was locked in terror. The thought of sleep felt impossible. I buried myself deep beneath the blankets, praying that whatever it was would just stop. But as the night dragged on and the voice went quiet, pure fatigue took its toll. Maybe it was the fear, but eventually I passed out. Waking up the next morning, the first thing on my mind was telling my mom about last night. Walking downstairs, there she was, just like any other day, making breakfast like nothing ever happened. "Mom, did you call out to me from outside my window last night?" She looked confused. "Why would I be outside your window?" "You must have dreamt it." "I could have sworn I heard your voice." She chuckled lightly. "Dreams can be deceiving at times. Maybe it was just a vivid nightmare." I hesitated, still trying to piece together the fragments of that night. Maybe she was right. Maybe it was just a dream that felt real. After a while, I managed to convince myself that it was just a dream, a means for my mind to cope with the unnerving feeling. Days went on, and for a while, everything seemed normal. Hadn't heard my mother's voice from my window for a few days. But that illusion of safety was shattered, just 15 minutes ago. I kissed my mom goodnight, as was our nightly ritual. Settling into bed, it didn't take long before the familiarity of her voice reached my ears again. Again, it emanated from outside my window. There was no passing this off as just a bad dream. I hadn't even shut my eyes. "Open your window, James, let Mother in." The voice seemed somewhat angry this time, yet it still mirrored my mom's tone. My heart raced, cold dread washing over me. My immediate instinct was to flee to my mom's room and alert her to the unsettling voice. But curiosity, as treacherous as it often is, especially as a child, anchored me in place. I needed to know what was really calling me. With trepidation, I approached the window, praying that the voice would remain silent. Stealthily, I peeked through a tiny gap in the curtain, ensuring I remained unnoticed. The sight that met my eyes was both terrifying and confusing. It was a man, hunched over on the window. He just stood there, waiting, as if expecting me to comply with his request. "Screw this!" I shouted. I sprinted to my mom's room, screaming what I had just witnessed. She jolted awake, her eyes wide with alarm and confusion. When I told her about the man, she seemed even more confused. It made no sense. Rubbing her eyes, she made her way to my room and slowly pulled back the curtain. To my dismay and her skepticism, the window revealed nothing. The man was nowhere in sight. She thought I was playing a prank on her, but I assured her I wasn't. I could understand her skepticism. After all, a man outside your window calling your name is absurd to even think about. Yet what I witnessed was undeniably real, and undeniable my mother's voice. There's no way in heck I'm ever going to sleep in that room again. When I was a teenager, I was goth. Black hair, black clothes, black makeup, even had a pair of combat boots. My friends and I, in typical goth fashion, hung out at the local cemetery. We started going as a joke, but soon discovered we liked the peace we found there. That all changed one night. My friend called to see if I wanted to hang out, and I did. None of our other friends were available. They were either working or recovering from partying the night before, so we were on our own. My friend picked me up and we drove up to the cemetery. We were hanging out, smoking cigs, and BSing about the latest issues she was having with her boyfriend when we noticed at the top of the hill we were on, about 100 feet away, a bonfire had been lit. You have to understand that this cemetery is about a block off campus of a major university, and it's not uncommon for college students to go there to party. My friend and I sighed, knowing that we would have to get going soon. It was illegal to be in the cemetery after dark, and we knew the police would show up because some jerks had decided they needed a bonfire. We decided to finish our cigs and then take off. Just then, the most horrible stench came wafting down the hill from the direction of the bonfire. My friend gagged and covered her mouth. I groaned and said, "What the heck?" My friend shook her head, saying, "I don't know what they're doing. Let's just leave." We get in the car and one of us suggested, I honestly don't remember who, "Maybe we should just go up and see what they're doing." My stomach turned and a cold shiver went through my body. My friend must have had the same feeling because, at the same time, we both said, "No. We should leave." My friend turned the car on, switched on her headlights, put the car in reverse, and looked over her shoulder before starting to back up. I was still looking up the hill. A figure stepped in front of the bonfire. I could only see a silhouette, but I was sure whoever it was watching us. A feeling of terror hit me and I said, "Go. Go. Go. Go," getting louder and more panicked with each word. My friend looked back up the hill for a second, and just as the figure took a step towards us, she slammed on the gas and peeled out, going in reverse down the hill. She rammed the gear shift into drive and we were out. We didn't say anything for a while until she said, "What the heck were they burning?" I shook my head. "I don't know." She dropped me off at home and I went to bed. The next morning, I woke up and went out to the kitchen. My mom was there, drinking her morning coffee, and I joined her. We talked about her job for a bit when she suddenly comes out with, "Did you hear what happened last night?" I shrugged and say no. I had just gotten up. She tells me that a woman she worked with was kidnapped from the parking garage. "Oh my God!" I say. "Did they find her?" "Yes, but too late," she replies. "Whoever took her had murdered her. They found her this morning up in the cemetery. He had tried to dispose of her body in a bonfire." I froze. My brain was going a mile a minute, the realization slowly creeping up. That's what that smell was. Needless to say, I never hung out at the cemetery at night again. I think back to our decision to leave instead of investigating the fire. That one decision could have changed everything. Dark silhouette in the bonfire. Let's not meet.